Hello and welcome to my new channel, Driving the Virtual World. That's what it's called, and that's what we will be doing here. It's all about sim racing, of course, especially with Assetto Corsa, but with a slight difference, at least for the main project I have here. I don't want to do the latest mods and the latest gimmicks of Assetto Corsa and other sims. I want to travel the world and take you with me. And I will be doing this in my little Alfa Giulia TI Super. That's the one. This is my favorite car in my real life. And so I found a version of this in Assetto Corsa and modified it to be as realistic as possible. The version I found had much too much power and was not looking the way I wanted to be. So I modified it a little bit. It now has 170 brake horsepower and it basically drives like the real thing does. And what I want to do is I will travel the virtual world and visit different racing tracks and other tracks worth visiting. And I will show you around, show you the tracks, a little bit of the surroundings, and of course a little bit of the history of the track. And to go with it, we have a couple of laps on every track, so you can have a look how it looks in Assetto Corsa. And the nice thing is, I will not be doing this alone all the time. I might be visiting some tracks on my own on a couple of occasions, but I will be joined by two of my buddies from time to time. That is D-Max and Hippie. Both have their own YouTube channels, and I will link to their channels beneath this one. And maybe I will be joined by some other buddies as well. And maybe you like to have a go and meet me on some tracks around the world. I'm sure you will have noticed that English is not my native language. I'm from Germany and I live quite near the famous Nurburgring. And that's why we start there today. And because the Giulia is an older car, I will start with the older version of the Nurburgring, and to be more precise, only a part of the old Nurburgring. As you may know, the Nurburgring 67 version from William T. Riker, I think his name is, that one not only has the famous Nordschleife, you can also drive parts of it, and that's what they have done in real life. The smallest version of the track is the Betonschleife. Betonschleife is basically the start-finish straight and the back straight connected together with a loop. The Betonschleife was a name given by the people. The correct name is start-finish loop. And this was the connection between the Nordschleife and the Südschleife. We will cover that one later. And of course, the Betonschleife can be driven as a track on its own. And there was a very famous race on this short track called the Supersprint. This was very spectacular for the audience on the main grandstand, because they could see almost the whole track. They could see the cars going by the main straight, and they could see part of the back straight and the loops. And of course they can hear the cars, because the pit buildings at the time were only very narrow. There were only small garages lined up on the main straight. And as we are racing the beautiful Alfa Giulia GTA, I will take you with me on a lap of the Betonschleife. We are now coming on the start-finish straight. You see the grandstands on the left side. There were normally packed with people. The pit buildings and the race control on the right side. And now we are on the main straight, approaching the first corner, which is the hardest braking corner. And now a short left, and then we are going on the big right loop, which is a little bit banked, but it also has not too much grip. And then we are coming on the back straight. You can see the grandstands there. And now we are passing the pit buildings on the backside. And I'm braking normally here where the flagpoles are. And the other loop is banked as well. And then this is the right. And this almost completes a lap. About 2.2 kilometers long. And that's what it's all about. I will have a short stop at the pits to wait for some other cars. You can see the beautiful and simple pit buildings as they were in the 60s. Sadly, all this was torn down in 1982 to build modern pit buildings and a modern new Nurburgring as we all know today. And we all know the reasons behind that, because of course Niki Lauda had his almost fatal accident on Nordschleife in 1976, and basically there were no Formula 1 races and no big races after that, because people considering the track as too dangerous, and something had to happen. And so they came up with the idea of building a new Nürburgring and tear down all these beautiful facilities of the old Nürburgring, which is a pity. I think the old grandstands, I think they look wonderful, and the new ones will never have the atmosphere of the old ones, of course, but it is what it is. Time goes on, and as we have the new Nürburgring now, of course we have racing again since 1982, and who knows, maybe we would have never had any races if it wasn't for the new Nürburgring. And of course we will pay a visit to the modern Nürburgring sometime later. And now we are following the beautiful Lancia Fulvia around. Very rare car today. I think it's more common to see a modern Ferrari or Lamborghini around today than to see a Lancia Fulvia. This one seems to have a similar power to our Giulia. I might get it on the brakes, but I give him the corner because this is a track day and we don't want to destroy our beautiful old cars. Going through the Nordkehre, the northern loop, and coming on the main straight again. You see, I can't beat the Fulvia on power. Very similar motorized, I think. And to be honest, I think Lancia today don't build beautiful cars like this anymore. I think the cars now by Lancia are pretty much generic, and they are not as special anymore as back in the day. And I think that's the reason you don't see modern Lancias as well today. I think what Lancia could need is a new designer with a lot of passion for the brand and some knowledge about the heritage of the brand to make something similar as beautiful as this Fulvia is, or of course the great Lancia Delta Integrale, all great cars of the past. And as the Lancia driver gave me the exit of the northern loop, I will now follow this beautiful Porsche 550. And as we come closer to the 550, we see it has quite a famous number on it, the 130. And maybe you know who the owner of this famous car with this famous number was. It was a certain Mr. James Dean, who called his car the Little Bastard. And I think he knew why he was calling his car like that. The Porsche is a little slower on the corners and on the exit, but he gets me on the straight and on the brakes. And as you can see, it even says Little Bastard on the back of the Porsche. And we all know that James Dean sadly found his fate in that very Porsche. And he died very young racing this car. But the nice thing of sim racing is that we can still enjoy cars like this and tracks like this today, even if it is only in virtual reality. And I really hope you enjoyed this couple of laps in our beautiful cars, and you will return for more. This was the first episode of Driving the Virtual World, and if you don't want to miss any of the future editions, I hope you hit the subscribe button and the bell icon to be notified, so you don't miss any new edition. Thank you for being with me, and until next time, bye bye.